Hello and welcome to my channel. If you would like to subscribe, you would be very welcome. Today we're going to make a dog's bed, and what I've done is I've taken a piece of fabric and I've cut it at 5 inches. I've taken 2 pieces of fabric and I've taken a pot, and it's a 7-inch diameter circle, so you could do that with a pot or a plate, or you could do it with a compass so that you've got a 7-inch circle there. I would try and print out a 7-inch circle so you've got one, and write the measurements on a piece of paper so that you've got it all there together. So the first thing you want to do is take your piece of fabric, and having the 2 right sides together, we're going to just place them so that they go together like that, and then we're going to just stitch right across just like that. So I shall go to the sewing machine and do that. You can do it by hand if you'd rather. I'll go through and then I'll come back, do a back stitch, and I'll do a back stitch at the other end. Okay, so once you've got it sewn on the end, so that's all sewn over, what you want to do is take it and you're going to fold it in half like that, so you've got half of it there like that, and you can fold that down so that's laying nice and flat. And what you're going to want to do is go all the way around, but you want to leave a piece about 2 inches. So I'm just going to put a pin in here, make sure these 2 pieces are lined up exactly, and then get those 2 bits lining together, and we're just going to put a couple of pins to remind me not to sew in this area. So what I will do is I'll start from here and I'll sew all the way around, and I'll leave myself a gap about 2 inches here, and that'll be the gap. You want to leave that open because that's where you're going to put the stuffing in. Okay, so go all the way around and stitch that all the way around. If your sewing machine has a piece where you can take it off and you've got a much smaller bit, that might be handy because you can get the whole thing underneath your foot there and pop it under and then stitch around. Okay, so you might find that is an easier way to do it if you've got one of those. Do a few back stitches and go all the way around, keeping that on that edge of that fabric. And when you get to the end, come up to where your pins are and do a few back stitches and lift that off. Okay, can you see that? So we're just going to have it so it's sitting on that line of stitching just like that, and pop a pin into it just like that. Okay, and you're going to go all the way around. So obviously you're putting a straight line onto 2 circle lines, so you just want to put pins in very small places as you go around, so you will have to put them every like inch or so. You'll need a pin. Okay, and keep going around until you get to that bit where the opening is, and we don't want to pin on the opening piece, so just keep going around until you get to the opening. I've gone around and pinned it from where the 2 openings were, which we left for openings. Okay, and I'm just going to pop a pin there to remind me not to stitch over this piece, and I'm going to do the same on this side here. This will just give me a little reminder because I am apt to forget. Right, and then this piece I want to fold it right back out of the way, but I also want to fold back the top piece of my long piece which we made into a circle. So this is the 2 pieces, and I'm going to fold that one back as well. So on this one you should have your bottom piece of your great big long piece, all right, which we didn't stitch. So I'm going to just pop that over there out of the way, and I'm going to make sure that that is laying nicely so I can get a nice flat seam on that top piece. And I'm just going to pop a pin in here. I need to make sure you don't stitch over any of these pieces because this is what we're going to need so we can stuff it. All right, so we're just going to go around. I'm going to start here and I'm going to go all the way around and stitch all the way around, putting a back stitch in there. So I shall just start on that side there like that. When you get to this piece here where the 2 pieces are, you want to just do a back stitch there, stop, and then move your needle forward just that tiny bit, and then stitch around that piece and do a back stitch here and finish it off. So just come in just to the other side of that foot. So there's my foot sitting there, and this is my piece, and I've just come, so I'm just over the end of that extra piece, and I'm just going to come and I'm going to run my foot all the way along this edge. So I'll just go on and do a few stitches on, You might prefer to have your needle in the down position, and then we'll do a few back stitches, and then we'll go all the way around. So I've come all the way around to here, and I'm just going to catch this last bit. So I'm just going to come up. You can see where that needle is. I'm going to stop where that pin is, do a few back stitches. Right, and then I'm going to lift it, and I'm going to pull all of this fabric out of the way. So I'm going to lift my needle, take it over the top of that pin and pop it back down, making sure that the side of my fabric is touching against the side of that foot. And if you find that you've got a bit of a clump of fabric here, can you see that's a bit of a clump? You want to just straighten that out with your fingers and then carry on. Now you can do a tiny back stitch after you've done a few stitches, but not too far because you don't want to go back over that fabric, okay? And then we're going to just come around just as you've done all the way, making sure you don't get any bumps or lumps anywhere in there. Let's just finish off that last little bit. This is just a little bit of fiddly bits. That's why I'm showing you on the camera. And when you get nice and close to that edge, I'm going to just do a few back stitches. That'll just stop it from unraveling whilst we're working on it. So you can now turn it the right way around. Okay, so you've got your piece all the way around, and it's nice and secured, and you've got a nice side to your basket like that. All right, this will be your inside piece where that piece is, because you're going to be able to sew that once all this is done. So now what we're going to do is take our stuffing, and we're going to take it in here, and we're going to push it all the way around the inside. So here is my stuffing, and basically all I'm going to do is just take the stuffing and push it in to the seam here, and this will form the sides of my basket. So you're going to need to push it all the way in. Now you can use your fingers, which I'm doing here. As it gets further around, it will sort of go further and further into the bag itself, and you just got to keep pushing it until it goes around to where you want it to be. So we're pretty sort of well stuffed all the way around. I just need a little bit extra here. Okay, I don't want to put in tons of it. I want it sort of, it's fairly firm, as you can see, all the way around. And I've just started, as I'm putting it in, I'm taking those two pieces which we sewed together there. We still got that one piece there left. We don't want to sew onto that. These are the two bottom pieces we're sewing together. I'm just going to come along and I'm going to pin this. Now this isn't quite as full as I want it to be, but what I'm going to do is do that, and I'm just going to leave a very small hole here at the end. So I'm going to get one more pin in there, and I'm just going to leave a small hole like this, because I don't want to put too much stuffing in, because I won't be able to get it under my needle of my sewing machine. So I'm going to do it right up to there, stitch it right up to this piece here, so you've got about a thumb sort of length left over, and then I'm going to pop it under the machine. Okay, and then I'm just going to stitch from here, or from here where obviously in the same way as the pins are going, straight the way across on the same length as my foot. Okay, which is that sort of 1/2 inch gap. So it's stuffed, I've got it nice and stuffed, it's nice and firm now, all in that bit. And as you can see, I've just got this very small piece here, which I just need to go over and hand stitch. It's just like a thumb's width of it, just there. So I'm just going to run some stitches across there by hand and get that sewn together so that none of that stuffing can get out. And then I'm going to just tie a knot, and remember how we did the knot, we put a hand in it, we do a couple of twists, pop our needle through the center and pull. And you can do that again. I always like to do 2 knots on mine. And then all we're going to do now, so this will be the inside of your dog's bed, is we're going to take this piece of fabric, and as we go around, we're just going to fold it around so that you've got that 1/2 inch is folded under. You're going to fold it under all the way around, and then you're going to take your hand stitching again, and you're going to just come along, and you're just going to do some little stitches. So you're going to do a bigger stitch underneath through the back, and then a little stitch in through there. Okay, so just keep doing that, and remember to keep turning this piece of fabric in under for that 1/2 inch. So I've just ran along there, and as you can see, that's fairly neat. I'm just going to tie a knot. So as you can see, this fits our poorly kitten, and it also fits our poorly puppy. So we've got our little kitten, and she'll fit in here just beautifully. This makes a lovely little bed for the kitten, and it also fits our lovely puppy. Now the puppy is a Our Generation Girl puppy, and he fits in there perfectly. I hope you like it. Goodbye.